Now, storm the field, Badger Nation. Wisconsin gives its fan a homecoming to remember. And coats for kids. After weeks of collecting those coats, they're finally getting to those in need. That's all coming up at 6. So we had homecoming, Halloween weekend, and storming the field. It was a near perfect day at Camp Randall as the Badgers upset number 9 Iowa. Sports anchor Jordan Reed is in studio breaking down a dominant performance.
Well, the Heartland Trophy is staying right here in Madison as Wisconsin completes the upset of number 9 Iowa. And it's actually the first time since 2019 the Badgers take down a top 10 opponent. Now, all eyes on this storied matchup as the Badgers look to solidify their stance, in the Big Ten West. But it didn't take long for Wisconsin's offense to get into a groove. Graham Mertz connects with Jake Ferguson at the back of the end zone for their first score. Now on the flip, Badgers defense just shuts down Iowa. Hawkeyes only able to pick up 24 rushing yards on 30 carries. Wisconsin wins by 20 on homecoming weekend.
This game was a big game for us because it was the opportunity we had this week. And I love the fact that guys were all into this week and want them, just told them, want them to appreciate all that goes into winning a game. And then we get to come back tomorrow and we get to do it again.
And there's still lots more to come from Camp Randall coming up in sports. We're going to get to hear from sports director Zach Hanley, who was out there for the win.
Oh, thanks so much, Jordan. What a win it was. Now to weather, we've got to look at Madison's west side tonight. Should be a pretty nice evening, and especially we're all focused on tomorrow. So let's get out to meteorologist Austin Kopninski with your certified most accurate forecast and that Halloween update.
And the Halloween update right now looking fantastic. I think all the action that I'm hearing right now is just some sirens behind me. In terms of weather, there's really nothing going on here for these next 10 days. A little bit of a cool down, a recovery by next weekend, but we're not looking at any rain chances as of right now. It's currently 49 degrees outside right here in Madison. Not much in terms of cloud cover, but later on in the late night hours, we are expecting partly cloudy skies to end up taking over. Still a beautiful day expected tomorrow. Doppler track right now is showing pretty much nothing as expected as we have dried things out, falling right into that dry pattern, and that's going to continue here for an extended period of time. Now you look at our temperatures and they're looking pretty good here locally. Upper 40s, some low 50s. Wisconsin Dells right now at about 55 degrees. And look at Lone Rock, 57. Very comfortable in a lot of communities here outside right now. And the wind speeds are pretty calm. I haven't felt a breeze behind me at all here ever since I've been out in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. So that's some good news right there. Later on tonight, the forecast still looking fantastic. Again, partly cloudy skies will eventually take over. But I'll have another look at your Halloween forecast and that extended forecast coming up a little bit later on.
Well, thanks so much, Austin. Next at 6, a 40-year-old is expected to be okay after being shot early this morning on Madison's west side. This happened on Park Ridge Drive just after 3 o'clock. Officers say multiple callers reported shots were fired and vehicles driving off. The 40-year-old victim later arrived at a Madison hospital, and anyone with information should call Madison police. And we're learning more tonight about a deadly crash yesterday morning near Fairfield. The Baraboo School District says one of the 2 people who died in this single car crash was a student in the district. 2 other students as well as a former student were seriously hurt. Baraboo High School is opening its football stadium tomorrow afternoon to students and families to gather this process and really come together as a community. And 3-year-old Major Harris was buried today in Madison. Now, we did ask the funeral home if news media was invited. The family said they wanted this event to be private. Harris was a 3-year-old boy at the center of an Amber Alert earlier this month. He was found dead in Milwaukee last week. On Monday, the medical examiner said Major was likely killed around the same time as his mother. She was buried in La Crosse earlier this week. Well, thousands of coats, mittens, boots, and winter gear is being handed out this weekend at the Coats for Kids annual drive as everyone gets ready for those lower temps. But as Anna Hansen shows us, the real warmth this weekend is coming from a very generous community.
More than 600 families gathered today as Coats for Kids distributed boxes, racks, and bags full of winter necessities. Over the past 36 years, volunteers have distributed more than 335,000 coats. But those with South Central Wisconsin's Community Action Coalition told me today this is about so much more than just wool and feathers.
This is absolutely our best year yet.
There's a chill in the air in Madison, and while many residents look forward to winter sports and holidays, others worry about keeping out the cold.
So often we don't really think about folks who are struggling.
Data USA shows 16.9% of Madison residents are living in poverty, many unable to afford basic necessities like coats or mittens. It's this population, often overlooked, who benefit most from Coats for Kids.
This is really a way that we come together as a community to talk about the importance of dignity and respect.
This year's event, held at the Monona Terrace Convention Center, allowed more than 600 families to gather their winter essentials. Organizers say they expect to hand out over 10,000 coats and other items. For Amber Duddy, working with the coalition on events like this means everything, as she sees a bit of herself in the kids walking among the racks and tables.
This is a calling for me, a calling personally. I definitely grew up in a low-income household. My mom was a single mom, and we didn't have events like this where I grew up.
Community members have spent the past few months making donations via Clinky Cleaners for the program's Amazon wish list. 8,000 coats later, coalition members say this year may be the most successful yet.
The volume of coats we have is really good, and people have been incredibly generous, even during a pandemic.
But numbers aside, it's the people that matter most.
These are basic necessities. These are not luxuries. People didn't do this to themselves. Life circumstances happen.
And not even a pandemic is going to stop them from keeping the community warm.
It's no easy feat, but you have to do it because life goes on and people still need these things.
A community whose generosity burns, even on the coldest days. Well, News 3 Now is a proud sponsor of Coats for Kids, and they'll be back distributing coats at the Monona Terrace Convention Center tomorrow from noon to 7 and at the Goodman Community Center next Saturday from 1 to 7.
Thanks so much, Anna. Next, Trunk or Treat. After the break, kids are collecting candy all weekend long. How a local church is getting in the fun today. And tonight at 10, we're going to be live downtown on State Street with the latest on the Halloween celebrations. That's coming up at 10.
When you've been injured, we understand life gets tough. At Gruber Law Offices, your first call is free. Your first consultation is free. Stuck at home or in the hospital? We'll come to you for free. Call Gruber Law Offices now. We don't get paid until you do.
Those brave men and women of our armed forces, generations of them. Why should today's burdens fall back onto them? They were there for us. Now let's be there for them. Your local Wisconsin energy providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund are working together to deliver Wisconsin veterans in crisis heat, power, and help staying in their home. But they can't do it alone. Call to donate today.
Is your credit score getting in the way of the things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit offer fast and flexible lending. Borrow up to $10,000 and choose repayment terms that work for you. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
When the leaves start to fall and the nights get cooler, you know it's sofa season. Steinhoffels has a sofa to fit every style and budget. A sofa for the big game, a sofa for catching up, a sofa for cuddling. During Steinhoffels' Falling Prices sale, every sofa, every bedroom, every dining room, and more, it's all on sale. Steinhoffels has the largest selection of in-stock furniture and all the best brands of mattresses. It's the Falling Prices sale, only at Steinhoffels and steinhoffels.com.
You got her?
I got her.
I'm getting us McDonald's.
Enjoy a sausage McMuffin with egg or a sausage burrito and pair it with a $1 any size Coke.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
If you've been injured in a truck crash, call Gruber Law Offices. Trucking law can be extremely complicated. There are specific rules and regulations that apply, and we know what it takes to win. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6. Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence in Television.
For the second straight year, downtown Madison's biggest Halloween celebration isn't happening. The city canceled Freak Fest last month with local health experts still concerned about COVID case numbers and the Delta variant. But that doesn't mean festivities aren't happening tonight. The Wisconsin State Journal says extra police will be downtown with access to parts of State Street limited for drivers. And after a year of COVID guidelines and mask mandates, tomorrow's the day when thousands of kids throughout our area are finally going to get back to trick-or-treating. But as photojournalist Brian Troxel shows us, one church in Madison is already letting trick-or-treaters collect some candy.
Masks don't look silly on Halloween. Which one do you want? We really wanted to provide a safe place for kids to trick-or-treat.
Oh, that's a reason you can get a comic book.
Being able to keep some space between people, the social distancing.
With the pandemic, you know, last year the kids didn't really get to go around much, so we have a great turnout, and I think you can see the enthusiasm, and it's been a great day.
I think it's a sense of celebration that we're starting to be able to gather again.
Freddie, what do you think of this thing?
I think the good news about kids being able to get vaccinated too coming up, so we'll be able to do more events with children in our community and for them.
There are chances for your trick-or-treaters to go out tomorrow in South Central Wisconsin. Trick-or-treat hours in Middleton run from 5 to 8 p.m. and in Sun Prairie from 5 to 7. In Madison, there are no set trick-or-treat hours. And we have a list of trick-or-treating hours in dozens of the communities across our area available on the Channel 3000 News app. It's free and available in the App Store. Well, if you are looking for something else to do this weekend, head over to the UW Memorial Union and check out the terrace chairs. The union says this weekend is probably the last time the chairs will be out until next spring. The chairs made their return to everyone this year after only being available to UW staff, faculty, and students, as well as union members in 2020. The Biden administration is staying busy this weekend. Coming up next at 6, an update from the president's European trip while Vice President Harris gets her booster shot in D.C. Plus, Austin's going to be back with your trick-or-treat forecast right after the break.
Hands that do the fixing need fixing. When the hands that do the caring need caring, that's a job for O'Keeffe's Working Hands. It's America's #1 selling hand cream and guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands. Also available in O'Keeffe's for healthy feet.
It's time to find your next Chevy truck and forge ahead. Take on new challenges and take it to the next level. It's the perfect time to do more in your next Chevy. Find new possibilities, find new roads. Eligible customers get great offers from GM Financial Plus. No monthly payments for 120 days on all 2021 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab pickups and get $1,500 cash allowance. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Your eyes, beautiful on the outside, but if you have diabetes, there can be some not so pretty stuff going on inside. It's true, with diabetic retinopathy, excess sugar can damage blood vessels, causing vision loss or even blindness. So remember this, now is the time to get your eyes checked. Eye care is important to your long-term diabetes management. See a path forward with actions and treatments that may help your eyes and protect against vision loss. Visit nowic.com and take control of your sight.
I have worked at Huffcore for the last 36 years.
Huffcore, closing the plant, moving production to Mexico.
I gave my life and my body to that place. Ron Johnson pushed through a tax law that rewards outsourcing. Companies can bring profits back from Mexico tax-free. And worse, Ron Johnson profited personally from outsourcing. He has doubled his wealth since taking office. Tell Ron Johnson to stop putting his profits above our jobs.
New Milk-Bone Dipped. A treat so tasty, everyone will want to be a dog. Coated in delicious peanut butter flavored yum. Dog life's more fun with New Milk-Bone Dipped.
Celebrating 40 years of winners and readers. It's Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Taste Party. Monday, November 15th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Edgewater. Sample food and drinks, enjoy music, and meet some of this year's winners. It's Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Taste Party. Monday, November 15th at the Edgewater. Tickets are online now. Presenting sponsor, Willersheim Winery and Distillery. And supporting sponsors, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and Beef Butter Barbecue.
Watching News 3 Now at 6.
Vice President Kamala Harris is asking more Americans to get vaccinated this weekend. The VP got her COVID booster shot at a news conference in Washington, D.C. this morning.
Well, I got the booster shot, and I want to encourage everyone to do the same when you are eligible. And as we have said from the beginning, the vaccines are free, they are safe, and they will save your life.
Vice President Harris received her first dose of Moderna shot last December. The White House says she is qualified for the booster because her job includes frequent traveling and interacting with people. And speaking of interacting with people, President Biden is working alongside some of the world's powerful leaders in Rome this weekend. It's the first in-person G20 summit since the start of the pandemic. And today, the president scored a major victory. Jen Sullivan has a closer look from Italy.
U.S. President Joe Biden scoring a major victory at his first G20 summit as commander-in-chief, working to prove that the U.S. is ready to lead once again on the global stage.
If Biden is going to move past some of these foreign policy blemishes and restore trust, it's going to require more than just rhetoric touting the virtues of multilateralism.
Posing for the traditional class photo with world leaders and joined by first responders who were on the front lines of the coronavirus global pandemic. COVID is one of the several issues G20 leaders are tackling at the global conference in Rome, as well as climate change, the ongoing global supply chain crisis, and international economic recovery.
8 months into his presidency, Biden needs to reinforce, I think, clear expectations about what the United States wants from its global partners and what those global partners want from the United States.
On Saturday, President Biden achieving a core win. His proposal for a global minimum tax on multinational corporations winning the endorsement of all G20 leaders. Experts say the historic agreement could reshape the rules of the global economy.
All the things that we're talking about, supply chains, the global minimum tax, inflation, this is all part of a larger change that's taking place right now.
President Biden also meeting with some European leaders to discuss the next steps in negotiations with Iran, with leaders saying in a joint statement they're convinced it's possible to quickly restore the Iran nuclear deal. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Now, the U.S. did withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal back in 2018. The G20 summit wraps up tomorrow. In more local news, alien enthusiasts are gathered in Belleville today for the return of UFO Day. The annual event celebrates Belleville's unique history with UFOs just in time for Halloween. The event was started after UFOs were sighted in Belleville in the 80s. While there may not have been any close encounters of the third kind today, organizers say the event still brings the community together.
It brings the community together. Like, it brings the businesses together, it brings all of the people together, and it's a family-friendly event, which is great.
I'm all in for this. UFO Day was moved to an all-virtual event last year due to the pandemic. Well, Austin is back with your certified most accurate forecast. Austin, would you have been there today if we weren't working?
You know, I think I would have been, because I swear I saw a UFO whenever I was actually younger in high school back in Maryland. So, you know, I think it's out there, but that's just me. Call me crazy if you want. But hey, we are looking at a very dry forecast coming up, and we're also going to cool things down here. The next work week is going to be quite chilly. High temperatures only remain in the lower to mid 40s for the most part. That's actually a little below average, but a Halloween treat is coming up. Speaking of, let's go right on over to that trick-or-treating forecast, which is still looking very nice right now. Staying dry, that's the most important part here for tomorrow night, but it's going to be quite chilly here. A little bit breezy to start if you are going out and trick-or-treating, but towards the end, that's whenever those winds will die down a little bit. Temperatures will also cool down, and with partly cloudy skies, it should be a nice overall forecast here if you're heading out trick-or-treating on Sunday. A live look outside right now, also staying dry. Beautiful look. Nothing happening on our Doppler track currently. More good news there. But again, those temperatures, they are going to cool down. By tomorrow afternoon, we're only really going to struggle to actually reach those lower 50s. A lot of us are going to get trapped in the upper 40s for tomorrow, but then we're actually going to cool things down afterwards. Middle 40s and even some lower 40s are going to be expected for high temperatures. So do keep that in mind. Starting on Monday, that's whenever the 40s for most of us are going to kick off, and that's how long they're going to stay is to be determined right now, but it does look like they're in the extended forecast for quite some time. Also, our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook still keeping us very dry right now. Not a rain chance in sight as of right now, so that's even more good good news, and we're also going to look to warm things up a little bit towards the end of the forecast. Our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook shows us actually right near normal. Now again, this next work week is going to be quite chilly. High temperatures do fall back down into those middle to even lower 40s at times, but by the time we reach that next weekend, temperatures will rebound to the upper 40s and low 50s, and by that time of the year, that's exactly where we should be. But now our 24-hour temperature change, not really much of an actual difference here, so we're looking very similar to where we actually were yesterday. But this extended forecast right now looking just beautiful. Not a rain chance in sight. It looks like a little bit more cloud cover is going to be possible on the following Tuesday. I'm talking 10 days away, but other than that, we're looking very consistent here. The only thing that's really going to change, it's going to be those temperatures. We got to get ready for the chilly temps that will return here, especially throughout that work week next week.
I was going to say, move over Sunshine State. Is this Florida? Is this Wisconsin? This is unbelievable.
I know, and after all the rain that we saw here this last week, we definitely deserve some sunshine. I'll take it.
Well, the weather's looking good, and so are the Badgers. Coming up next, they're starting to figure it out at the right time. We're going to take another look at the big win over Iowa coming up in sports.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head in monthly payments, there's a secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for the credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to completely resolve your credit card debt with a monthly payment you can afford. To see how much you could save, call now. 1-800-914-7929. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. After all, we depend on your success and offer a guarantee so there's no risk to call. Credit Associates. Live better, debt-free. We'll even show you how to use your stimulus money to jumpstart our services and get you debt-free faster than you ever thought possible. Call Credit Associates now to see how much you could save for free. Call 1-800-914-7929.
Is your credit score getting in the way of things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit help you borrow up to $10,000. So check your eligibility on netcredit.com today without affecting your credit score. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
You protected our rights, preserved our freedom. You may have even risked your life for us. Now, it's our turn to fight for you. Your local Wisconsin emergency, energy, and housing assistance providers, and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund reward the service of our veterans with rental and energy support in their time of crisis. Apply today to get the fresh start you've earned.
Bro, one more time.
Where's the drip? Let 'em cut from a different come to my coming to the lane.
Jif peanut butter.
That flow crazy.
It's that jiffing good. Ludacris changed his flow for it.
When it comes to weather, only one thing really matters: accuracy.
Only one station can be the best.
News 3 Now. First Warn Weather has the most accurate forecast, according to Weather Rate.
Count on First Warn Weather for your most accurate forecast.
Join us Sunday morning at 6:30. We'll tell you everything you need to know for your Halloween Sunday, including a trick-or-treating forecast, plus highlights from today's homecoming Badgers game against Iowa.
Another epic chapter is being added to the Wisconsin and Iowa rivalry. And driving this game like most of the season is the Badgers' defense, each and every week proving why they're one of the best in the nation. Wisconsin up 10-0 in the second quarter. Hawkeyes trying to get something going, but the defense, they're not going to let that happen. Force one of 3 turnovers. Noah Burke secures the ball, and that allows Graham Mertz to take it in himself on their next possession. Wisconsin leads by 20 at halftime. The Hawkeyes able to get some points on the board in the second half, but Wisconsin's defense continues to smother. They hold Iowa to just those 7 points as the Badgers win by double digits on homecoming. Mertz finishes with 1 passing touchdown, but 2 rushing. Sports director Zach Hanley was out at Camp Randall and has more from this game.
It's fitting that on Halloween weekend, the Badgers introduced the Grit Factory, a $7 hat that Colin Wilder bought at Ragstock that you get to wear when you force a turnover. And that word grit epitomizes how this group wants to play.
I got it literally yesterday. I got that hat yesterday and wrote it in Sharpie. And $7 turned into, a big-time thing. It's cool. It's kind of like, hey, if we get a turnover, let's throw it on. And then kind of just became like, all right, you make a bunch of plays, you get to wear it. So whatever works, whatever can bring us a little juice, a little energy. Coach Chris and Coach Leonard are all aboard.
We're all about, having gritty dudes around and, showing a lot of grit out there on the D. And I think, it kind of showed up today. We saw guys making a lot of plays.
I feel like that's what this program was built on. And, when you talk about the Grit Factory, I mean, this is the factory of grit, the, University of Wisconsin. So, it's so fitting, and, I mean, I just love how it took off. This is awesome.
In the Grit Factory, you know what? It's probably fitting, right? Probably fitting.
Let's go! So that's back-to-back wins over top 25 teams, but to the Badgers, that doesn't really mean much. Or as they like to say, just got to do it again. At Camp Randall Stadium, Zach Hanley, News 3 Sports.
Undefeated Whitewater hosting Eau Claire for homecoming. Now the Warhawks defense sets the tone early. Kyle Kolblinger lowers the boom and knocks the ball free. Thomas Wojnowski says, thank you very much. 78-yard scoop and score off the first drive of the game. And fast forward, at the end of the first quarter, Ryan Wisniewski takes the jet sweep to the house. Trickery in the red zone leads to 6 more for the Warhawks. Whitewater on a roll, and they really can't be stopped. They run away with this one on homecoming, 48-6. The Wisconsin women's hockey team has had some gritty wins the last 3 weekends. Overtime against UMD, then Ohio State. Yesterday, a 1-goal game with Minnesota State. Well, the Badgers hoping to break out the brooms today. Tied at 1 after 1, Wisconsin takes over. Casey O'Brien nets the go-ahead early in the second period. Then it's all McKenna Webster. 3 consecutive goals in the third period, and her hat trick propels the Badgers to a 6-2 win and another sweep. Wisconsin now 12-0 on the season. It's all been building up to this, the state cross-country championships. Casey Martinson toughs out the final few steps as she finishes first for Division II's Southwestern Benton Cuba City in just 18 minutes and 10 seconds, marking her 3rd time being a state champ. Division I girls race only took a brisk 17 minutes and 44 seconds for Middleton's very own Lauren Ponsegro to claim first place. Now her finish helped pave the way for the Cardinals to win the Division I championship. And a trip to state is on the line for Evansville and McFarland boys soccer. The Spartans on the attack from the get-go. After a couple attempts, Zach Nichols finally gets it to go. McFarland leads early, and they aren't done yet. Nichols brings it right to the doorstep, and Mason Brown finishes it off. Spartans shut out the Blue Devils 3-0 and are heading to state.
Oh, what a day it was for Badger sports. And also, we've got some great weather. Austin, how's it looking tonight?
I mean, just fantastic overall. This forecast overall is really looking like a beautiful one. 41 degrees for that low temperature tonight. We will see some partly cloudy skies sneaking through a little bit later on in the nighttime hours, but we'll start with mostly clear skies. And then take a look at this extended forecast. I'm actually off on Monday through Friday. The parents are coming into town, and I couldn't have picked a better week to actually do this. If you see me out, of course, say hello. I'll be at a lot of restaurants, but this forecast, I don't need to say much more about this. A little bit cool for this next week, but really no rain chances to talk about. So some good news right there. And the Halloween forecast, a high of 51 degrees. Again, it will get quite chilly here towards the end of the day. After that sun sets, you'll notice those temperatures falling back down to the upper 30s pretty quickly. But other than that, this forecast right now, just a beautiful one. Now, how long can we hold it? That's the question, and we'll have answers later on.
Thanks so much. That's all we have for 6. Tune in tonight at 10 for more.